Since July 2014, MPS has worked to develop and refine a comprehensive plan to improve student outcomes. To achieve these goals, the district developed 8 strategic objectives, all linked together to create a cohesive and interdependent plan in what we call the MPS 8 Big Ideas. The 8 Big Idea of educating the whole child has 4 lines of effort: social emotional learning supports, promote healthy choices, strengthen student-teacher relationships, and expand early childhood opportunities. Within social emotional learning supports, there is create a social emotional learning framework for educating the whole child, expand behavior interventions and anti-bullying curricula, connect MPS violence prevention program and City of Milwaukee's trauma crisis team, and implement district-wide mindfulness initiative. All of these approaches fall under the framework of a multi-tiered system of support. In MPS, our multi-tiered system support is PBIS, and in the 2016-17 school year, we began to rebrand PBIS under Success in the high schools. These 2 frameworks serve as the multi-tiered system support in which schools implement the various approaches around educating the whole child. Without a framework, schools are left with all of these different approaches and initiatives with no guidance, similar to having a variety of bike parts. However, with a framework, a school has the overview and guidance to put all of these pieces together to serve the needs of all students. Similar to how putting together all the bike parts creates a bicycle that gets you to where you need to be. In MPS, we are working to braid these various approaches and supports together, layered within the multi-tiered system of support. This braiding allows us to see how all of these supports are working together to meet the behavioral and social emotional needs of all students. Some of these approaches include trauma-sensitive practices, mental health, social emotional learning, second step, restorative practices, and mindful practices. What is meant by tiers? A multi-tiered system support traditionally has 3 tiers or levels of layered supports. First, you have the supports that are offered to all students, called Tier 1. Whatever behavioral and social emotional supports all students receive regularly. This could include behavior lessons, second step, community building, and verbal acknowledgments. After that, you layer on top the supports that some students receive, called Tier 2. These supports are for those students who have already received Tier 1 supports and are in need of greater support. These could include check-in check-out, repairing harm circles, and social academic instructional groups. Lastly, each school has supports that are for a few students, called Tier 3. These are for the students who have already received the supports at Tier 1 and Tier 2, but are still in need of greater support. These are the most intense supports and are usually provided one-on-one and can include educational wraparound and renew amongst others. All of these supports along the continuum are layered on top of each other to ensure all students receive the full support they need. Schools have a variety of teams that support this work of educating the whole child. There's the learning team that addresses academics at Tier 1, the PBIS team that supports behavior at Tier 1, and the Building Intervention Team, or BIT, who supports academics and behavior at Tier 2 and Tier 3. These teams should create a system of collaboration amongst themselves to create the strongest support system for the needs of all students. Why mindfulness? Mindfulness is a research-based practice that has shown positive outcomes of improved academic performance, improved academic task completion, reduction in externalizing behavior, decreased anxiety, increase in prosocial behavior, improved self-efficacy, and increased persistence. What is mindfulness? MPS is looking at mindfulness as the purposeful awareness of our thoughts, emotions, physical feelings, and environment in the present moment without judgment. There are 2 areas of mindfulness. Informal practice, which is the daily practice in all that you engage in. This involves focus on being in the moment with everyday activities, including driving to work, answering emails, taking a test, lining up to go to recess, etc. You want to focus your mind on being mindful in the moment and building a resistance to the stresses that are involved in these everyday practices. Being mindful in the everyday moments can help you avoid becoming overstressed. The other area of mindfulness is the formal practice, which is taking specific time to engage in a mindfulness activity, including breathing exercises, morning meeting with students, meditation practice, internal body scans, and others. MPS is looking at the full continuum of mindful practices within the PBIS multi-tiered system of support. Starting at Tier 1 with practices such as breathing activities, morning meetings, visuals, mindful language, and mindful lessons. Then at Tier 2, integrating mindful practices within Tier 2 interventions including check-in, check-out, social academic instructional groups, and other mindful Tier 2 curriculum. Then at Tier 3, integrating mindful practices within student-specific action plans. There are also mindful practices that can be incorporated at the classroom level within the PBIS classroom best practices of building relationships, setting expectations, rules, and procedures, teaching expectations, rules, and procedures, redirecting and setting consequences, and acknowledging students. Throughout the 2017-2018 school year, MPS will be implementing various aspects of mindfulness throughout all schools to further support the district's strategic vision of educating the whole child.